Welcome back to Someday Chronicles. About time we hooked this trailer back up and headed back out. We were delayed for a little while. We ended up going into the shop and for some warranty work, which took way too long, but some of that we actually did after this trip. But headed up to Prineville Reservoir. It's a cool reservoir and it's a neat state park up there that you can camp at. The reservoir was actually opened in 1961 with the completion of the Bowman Dam. Usual years, the maximum depth is like 130 feet, and it can contain up to 150,000 acre-feet of water. This is not one of those years. I was following the lake levels through a state website, and this lake had been below 20% of its capacity for so long. It's kind of a neat little trail I jumped on here. This trailhead will take you all the way to Jasper Point from the state park. It's a 2-mile one-way trip, and it's not much of a trail as you get out of camp, but it's still a neat walk along the lake. As you can see there, all that bare dirt all the way up to the rocks is normally covered in water. It was quite amazing how low it was. I didn't do the whole walk on the Jasper Trail, but it is kind of a cool walking trail. A little rough. Wear some decent shoes, but even a good pair of tennis shoes will do you. There's some places where there's some rocks to climb over, but for the most part, it's a fairly well marked, fairly well findable trail. And I stopped several places I walked out maybe a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile maybe. So I still had a long way to go to Jasper Point. Been coming to this lake for years, and it's just amazing how low it is now. There's several BLM campgrounds along the Crooked River below the Bowman Dam. You have to access that through a different road, but I had been going up there fly fishing the Crooked River for a long time. Kind of amazing too. Yeah, it is March. It's kind of the off season for sure, but it was amazing how empty that parking spaces were there in the campground. Usually, this is kind of a neat thing that they do. Usually there's a dock that is moored out here, and you can rent spots in the dock. So if you were to tow your boat up with your camper, you can moor your boat on the dock and just walk down from your campground along this trail and get to your boat that's moored there. Unfortunately, just due to the low levels of water, the dock is not even attached to the land right now. It's not moored at all. In the distance there, if you look real close, there's a elevated platform. That's actually a fishing platform, another neat little thing they have that you can access just by walking from the campground to there. It's handicap accessible. I've seen folks out in wheelchairs out on that dock fishing, and normally the water's all the way up underneath that dock. And I've been out there in years past and seen folks fishing for bass, and you can see the bass swimming around the piers holding the dock up. And closer here, you can see the stairwell there that leads down. That normally leads to that dock where you can moor your boat. Then we tried some fishing, and should have had my camera out sooner. My father-in-law and I decided we were going to go fishing, and we drug the inflatable raft down to the bottom of the boat ramp where we inflated it, got it all ready to go and set it up. And the problem is with the lake level being so low, it doesn't look that bad until you get to it, but the shoreline about 3, maybe 4 feet away from the water is just thick, nasty, sticky muck. and it becomes so shallow that I actually waded out with the boat, and took quite a while to get to where we could launch the boat. It was actually a comedy of errors us getting out there, and we didn't catch anything, but it was still a lot of fun. And when we took our trailer up there, Mom and Dad rented a cabin, and this is cabin number 3. I'll give you a quick little tour here. It's a nice cabin. It's got handicap access ramp from the parking area. There's designated parking for that cabin, and you can see our trailer down there, so we were able to find a RV site nice and close to the cabin. And the living room has a futon, and the kitchen, if you call it that, is nothing more than a microwave and a mini fridge and a sink, but there's something there. In years past, I'm pretty sure they used to have dishes, basic silverware, basic pots and pans. I think, and this is just assumption on my part, that COVID made them pull all that out and they no longer supply it. But it's got a full bathroom, shower, and it worked really well. We'd come up here and visit and do puzzles and other things from it. And just above the cabin, there was a nice little fire pit, and we were able to start up a campfire while we were there before all the fire closures happened. Again, this is March, so it's nice and cool, and if I remember right, we got rain at least one day we were up there. We were up here for several days, and the views were spectacular, and it's just beautiful up there. There's some really neat rock formations as you come into the state park as well that you can stop and overlook. And just really nice to be able to sit down and enjoy everybody's company and enjoy the fire. And I barbecued some burgers up for us and had a nice dinner, and just a real enjoyable time. There's just something about a campfire. Not only the warmth, it just gives you comfort, and I'm probably an odd one. I really like the smell of the good, clean campfire smoke. And it's just kind of neat too. Days after the fire's over, you can still smell it in that flannel shirt you were wearing around the fire. It's just, I don't know, just something that brings back a lot of memories of a lot of camping trips from my youth. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure.